Good afternoon, everyone. I believe I'm the last man standing between you and lunch. So I'm going to be very crisp. And like Sir mentioned, I would also want a lot of question answers. So I'll try to be very, very crisp. And what I wanted to just talk about is firstly, acquaint you with what we are doing from a corporate perspective. What is it that you should look forward, you should be able to tell your people or your students who are passing out about the corporate world. And one word of advice directly from corporate to academia: don't get bogged down by the jargons that we use. It's simple old things that we keep on practicing, implementing, but it's new jargons that we implement. So whether we talk of EVP and all those things from an HR perspective, it's simple, basic things that we've been doing for ages. The only difference is how we're implementing it. So I'm just going to quickly run over my slides, and I'm not going to spend too much time because these slides are going to be available to you. My first slide, and this is the slide I'm going to talk about, and just stick to it. And the rest of the slides are mostly self-explanatory. You can always look it up from the iTech side. Technology attracts talent. We are adding method to madness. Sutherland, what I represent, I'm the head of HR for Sutherland. We hire roughly around 5,000 to 6,000 people annually. I interview, or my funnel is barely 10%. I have around 300 people or candidates walking up to my office campus on a daily basis. But what I manage to get is barely 30. So that's the conversion rate, and that's where I would want to reach out to you rather than you reaching out to me, to ensure that we have that the bridge that we talk about between academia and the corporates is reduced. We don't want that to happen. Believe you me, and that's why I put here adding method to madness. As much as you are concerned about placements, we have concerns about getting the right talent. So we have to work hand in hand. We have to work very closely to ensure that we bridge those gaps. I'm not going to blame academia. I'm not going to blame organizations or corporate. I just want us to work together so that we can add value. This session, we've been talking about technology. I just did a hashtag search for IC Tech. I didn't find a single Twitter tweet that was available. We've got the entire academy here, around 400 people, 15,000 people sitting there. The only tweet was which I had made. So what we preach, we have to practice. We're looking at social media, we're looking at telling our students to look at social media, various ways, use technology, but are we doing it ourselves? And my question is to you guys, are you doing it for you? So you have to start utilizing those technologies. Only then you will see the benefits, advantages that we are looking at, and then you will be able to practice it. So my advice to each one of you is utilize the social media. I have not bought my visiting cards today, but I expect that each one of you who would want to reach me would be able to reach me through LinkedIn, through Twitter, through any of the social media that is available. That's the way, we will, once we start doing it ourselves, we will see that the students, the candidates that we have, the students that you teach are using more and more technology. And what the speaker before me just mentioned, it's very, very clear. HR we're getting very innovative. Rather than looking at a resume, I look at the LinkedIn profile, I look in the kind of tweets that a person does from a hiring perspective. So when I'm hiring a person with some kind of experience, I'm more relying on his LinkedIn recommendations. I'm more relying on his social media activities. And there are softwares, I can tell you, which collate everything together and give it to you. So as an HR, we make more informed decision to hire anyone. Since I'm talking to academia, I wanted to bring out certain aspects. We are present in Trichy. We've got a model developed. We're working with a college. We've got it implemented. But I'll talk about other countries. Jamaica, for example. We've opened our office in Jamaica. It's in one of the college campuses, and we've had a tie-up with the academy there, wherein the candidates or the employees that we have, the first right of refusal goes to us. So we work very closely with them. We have our trainers, we work on a TNT model, train the trainer model, and then we get direct employable population from there. Very knowingly, we are aware that from Jamaica, I cannot grow that site to more than 5,000. I'm aware of that fact, but at least I'm confident that I'm going to get that 5,000 well qualified, employable population. That's what we need to bring it here. Let's come nearer to China. China's got a very, very good laid out procedure, and that gap that we keep on talking about academia and organizations, that is bridged there. Shuzhou, a small town in China, we've got our office there. We are aware that there are around 10,000 people that are coming out from a academia there. The government ensures that there is sufficient space or sufficient organizations are present in that region to capture that talent. In India, what is happening right now, we've got so much of availability of talent, but employability is what we feel that it lacks, or we are not ready to have outcome or from a candidate perspective which can turn that candidate into a prospective employee for our organizations or generally the corporates. We were speaking about the Connect model, and I'm quite confident there are a lot of organizations which work on an intern model wherein we reach out to various colleges and have an intern program run across our organization, and we also roll out pre-placement offers. So there is a lot of desire from the corporate, especially the organization that I represent, to reach out to the folks from the academia to ensure that we have more ready talent available, ready to employ, to reduce the employability ratio. One thing that we have to all appreciate, the cost, the revenues, the buyers that we have, they're all very, very finicky about cost. So the cost is reducing. The cost is reducing, they want more work, so the per employee cost has to come down. What's happening in India? We're fighting against inflation. We're looking at some kind of cost growth. So what a company is doing, and where technology is helping us, is to ensure that the same employee gives more productivity. Or we have to reduce the number of employable population to ensure that we get to the same revenue. So the pressure is not only from your side, that you're training people who are not getting jobs in the corporate, but the corporate itself is going through that challenge wherein we are not ready, or we are not allowed financially to reach out to you folks and get 100% of the population that we would want. With this, I'll just spend another 2 minutes, and then I would want to have a lot of questions from this group from a technology perspective. So, and this is one slide that I thought I will share, because there are other slides around talent management, what we do. In case you want to reach out to me, please feel free to reach out to me during the lunch break, or in the questions I'll try and answer. But this is one slide that I feel it is going to be very important for us. And by us, I'm meaning the academia as well as the corporates. We hire people. We need people. We can't survive without getting people. For our business to be successful, we need you guys to get us people who are ready to be employable. But what we do, how do we choose those people is going to be important. And I want to make sure that you guys understand what are we doing from a technology perspective, and what are the steps from an interview perspective that we feel that people have to be crossing those hurdles to be fully employable. So when we talk of technology, we've got a recruitment management system. Most of the organizations, and I'm representing the ITS sector right now, most of the organizations have got a very well-defined first level of screening. Particularly if you talk about my organization, I have got 11 different verticals, 160 job families. For each job family, I've got a profile created. That profile, any individual who enters the organization has to answer a question set of around 250 questions, and then I do the profiling. It looks at 38 different characteristics of that employee. the weightage of those 38 characteristics is varied. So in case I'm looking for a person in HR, I would want to have a higher weightage for an interpersonal skill. In case I'm looking for a finance, I would want somebody with a more analytic skills. So those are the things that we are wanting. So it's not that you're training people and corporates are rejecting that or people are not accepting. It's just a mismatch. And it is forums like this, wherein we get an opportunity to interact with people like you. These are the forums that are going to make it better. We are talking about sector skills. I was talking to Purushottam Prue in the morning. Sector skill, what I feel, is going to be a game changer. I am leading an initiative, and I can tell you because I'm leading an initiative across APAC and EMEA for talent acquisition and talent management. The problem that we face in India is we've got too many people or aspiring candidates, but too few people who can be converted into an employee population. I'm looking at other geos, especially the European geo, you don't have that kind of ratios. So you have limited pool availability, but you have good candidates. You're able to get, so in case I have to interview 10 people to get a position filled, in India, it's only 4 required there. So that's the kind of model that from a corporate we are moving. We're moving into proactive model, wherein we would want to reach out to you, talk to you, get you, especially the placement head into our campuses, and they have to see the work. The BPO industry, the ITS industry that we represent, it's changing now. NASSCOM has started this initiative wherein it is no longer going to be known as BPO. It's going to be known as BPM, the business process management. Because that's how we are elevating ourselves. It's no longer a basic voice calling or a normal transactional activity. We are providing the kind of services to the clients which most of the IT services companies were providing earlier. So it's not that there has not been any development from a corporate perspective. There's been a lot of development. Now we have to start together, work together to ensure that we start bridging those gaps from an employability perspective. So with this, I think I would want to have more questions from you. And this slide is going to be available, the presentation is going to be available. In case you want to trace me, you know me now, you know my name. Search for me on the social media, and then we'll get connected. Thank you.